morning, everybody. I'm Amnon Aharoni. Together with Moti Heiblum, we are the organizers of this meeting. We are very glad that everybody made it to here. I arrived from Korea 3 days ago, and I know how tired you are, but I hope you'll survive these 2 days of meeting. I'm very glad that the plans succeeded after several postponements due to the corona. I would like to invite David Harel, the president of the Israeli Academy, to welcome everybody.
So good morning, everyone. First of all, something that I hate to do, and I used to hate politicians doing it. So politicians come to meetings and they get up, they give a 2-minute presentation, and they say, "I'm sorry, I have to run out." So I think I'll be able to listen to maybe one lecture, but I will have to leave. Another preliminary comment is maybe after the coffee break, you mix the seatings a little bit better. So my friend, Professor Uk Jun Yu, president of KAST, Korean Academy of Science and Technology, members of the Scientific Steering Committee chaired by our own Professor Amnon Aharoni and Professor Moti Heiblum, distinguished researchers from Israel and South Korea, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for us to host you in Jerusalem this week. 3 years ago, when I was serving as the Academy's vice president, I had the privilege to take part in a visit to South Korea alongside the president of Israel at the time, Reuven Rivlin, and the then president of the Academy, Professor Nili Cohen. The program arranged for us was extremely interesting and enjoyable, and the hospitality was impeccable. The highlight of the visit was the festive signing of a renewed agreement for scientific cooperation between the two academies, one of the results of which is this conference today and tomorrow. I came away from that trip, incidentally not my first scientific visit to Seoul, bearing many meaningful insights about the wonderful people of South Korea, and especially its extremely high-quality science. I think you might now better understand the great pride I feel in having the honor of opening this first coordinated conference for the Israeli and South Korean academies. Special thanks go to our Korean colleagues, headed by President Yu, for coming here this week and sharing with us their most recent findings in quantum physics. Quantum physics is indeed one of the most remarkable areas in the science of our times. One, of course, can still argue about Albert Einstein's famous phrase that God does not play dice with the universe, although in a later 1945 letter, he softened this somewhat by saying that what he really meant was that God does tirelessly play dice, but, quote, under laws which he himself prescribed. In other words, what Einstein was really saying is that quantum particles must adhere to rules that don't change randomly, and, significantly, that the quantum world required better explanations for the behavior of particles. Einstein aside, when one looks closely at this exciting field, bubbling with the activity of some of the brightest scientific minds of our times, one finds many outstanding results discovered in the process of trying to tackle difficult and often mysteriously sounding problems, which of course brings to mind another famous quote, this time by John Wheeler: "If you are not completely confused by quantum mechanics, you do not understand it." As a computer scientist, I have my own egocentric interest in all things quantum, especially those related to quantum computing, such as the viability of building useful and powerful quantum computers and the area of quantum cryptography, which has been buzzing with activity for many years. One of my own pet interests, however, is in the inherent limitations of computation. So I'd like to spend a couple of minutes discussing what, to my mind, in my humble opinion, is truly the most fundamental open problem in quantum computing. And the question is there an algorithmic problem that has a polynomial time quantum solution, but which can be proved to admit no classical polynomial time algorithm. To use the terminology of us computer scientists, where the words reasonable and tractable are the terms we use when we have polynomial time solutions, the question is really this: is there a computational problem that is tractable in the quantum world, but is provably intractable in the classical world? And this problem is still wide open. I see a couple of frowns in the audience, which is probably a result of your acquaintance with the 1994 work of Peter Shor, who exhibited an ingenious polynomial time algorithm, quantum algorithm, for factoring integers. A wonderful piece of work indeed, but it would be orders of magnitude more significant if we were able to prove that factoring is not in polynomial time in the classical sense, and this we don't know, and it is related to the main open problems in theoretical computer science. In the year 2000, I published a small book on the inherent provable limits of computation. The title of the book is Computers Limited, What They Really Can't Do, Oxford University Press. And I chose to end the part of that little book that discusses various approaches intended to alleviate some of these problems by writing, quote, "In summary, Shor's factoring algorithm constitutes a major advance by any measure. However, at the moment, it must be relegated to the status of shelfware, and it is probably destined to remain that way for quite some time." And the final words of that chapter were, "Intractability has not been beaten yet." However that may eventually turn out, the topic of today's conference, quantum physics, is one of modern science's most important and most exciting areas of research, its intellectual significance and applications going far beyond the mere interest in quantum computing. Hence, let me once again greet you all for an eye-opening event and emphasize my great hope for the continuation of the strong Israel-Korea scientific connection. I'm grateful to the wonderful staff of the Academy for organizing this event, Dr. Netta Peretz, who is right over there, you probably know her, Ruth Hasson, Kochai Mamran, Michael Zaguri, Yaakov Rotman, Yair Ashkenazi, and our excellent Director General, Galia Finzi, who was also over here a minute ago. Yaakov is right over there. Thank you very much and enjoy the 2 days.